Hey everyone, how's it going? Thank you so much for tuning into this video today. I'm excited to bring it to you. I'm Obi with Lion Strong Elite. And before we get into today's video, guys, I just simply want to let you guys know that, as always, you guys can be anywhere at any time at this moment. It is a Sunday evening, and you guys can be watching television. You guys could be watching and consuming any mindless entertainment, because on YouTube there's plenty of that. You can fry your brain with rubbish, or you can tune in to Lion Strong Elite and get actual value. Okay, and again, these videos are aimed towards the high performing man. What is that? That is the entrepreneur, the CEO, the businessman, the people that have that semblance of a winning mindset, that understand what it is to have their back against the wall and constantly looking to improve, constantly seeking out information that's going to better them, which ultimately leads to success on their end in terms of their business, but their health and the more integrative perspective in which we provide. So, guys, with that said, some simple housekeeping. I would really appreciate if you guys hit the subscribe button onto this video, so that way we can get the engagement up and people can tune in. I've been getting a lot of good engagement on my videos, and I think it's because the content is actionable, it's pragmatic, but it's useful. And that's why every time I come on these channels, I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys information that's valuable. Okay, if you guys want entertainment, you can go someplace else that they're just gonna do jokes and entertain. Here we're gonna get information that's gonna better us in the long run. So guys, with that said, let's get started, okay? So in today's video, we're gonna talk about why high-performing men must train to failure for maximum strength and growth. So anyone that tunes into my channel understand that this is a common theme that I constantly harp on, constantly preach. And the reason why, guys, I'm so adamant about that, why I stress this so much, is because it's not because you develop an impeccable and impressive physique. That's a given. Okay, that's anytime you exert yourself to the maximum, you constantly disrupt the body's equilibrium. And what that means is your body wants to be in a normal state. It doesn't want to deal with all the stress and all the trauma, I guess, physical trauma, not in the literal sense, but just you want to cause a disruption. You want to stimulate the metabolism, and you do that from hard training. I don't care what anybody says, okay? Because with that hard training, and again, I discussed this in my fitness hierarchy video. I suggest you guys watch that. It's very informative. But basically, you create a disruption in which the body has more of an incentive to want to eat, to want to get more rest. And when you combine training, which is think of training as like you're trying to program a computer. You want to put the new information in, and so that way it can manifest in the system in which you want it to perform in. And while you're resting or sleeping, I guess, your body's able to take that messaging along with the nutrition that you aligned it with to sustain the growth, so you can fulfill that demand. Okay, so that's how the system goes. So, but when you train to failure, guys, especially in the way that I do it with my Lion Strong Elite program, by the way, it's called the Lion Strong Method, and I do train a lot of people, a lot of executive CEOs, and I basically help them stay in that elite mindset through my training, through my coaching. And the thing is, when you train this way, guys, your body's not only recruiting multiple muscle fibers, and we can get into that, so people don't realize that, and by the way, guys, I'm not a big fan of steady state anything, steady state cardio. I think cardio is fantastic, but I think that you have to get your cardio in the right capacity. And I prefer to get my cardiovascular training through strength training. And this is going to tie into what I'm talking about. So, but anyway, there's two types of muscle fibers, guys. There's type 1 and there's type 2. Now, what are those? I'll explain. Excuse me, get a little drink, guys. I'm parched, excuse me. So type 1 muscle fiber is more of the slow twitch. So basically this is associated with long distance, people who like to go on these long runs and these long distance, these cycling. And I'm not a big fan of this, is because, number one, these activities are muscle wasting. They don't put your body in an anabolic environment, which means it doesn't incentivize the body to want to grow. want to rebuild, want to strengthen. In fact, a lot of these athletes typically have a lot of issues with their knees, ankles, and hips. I've worked with many of them over the years, and whether this guy's a cyclist, this guy's a runner, they typically have a back problem. They typically have a knee issue, ankle issue, what have you. And the reason why, because that activity, as much as they may enjoy it, and they should, you're getting your heart rate up, you're still exercising, right? But you're not training the proper way because it's not building muscle. It's not loading the joints. It's not putting your body in an environment where it's gonna promote cellular growth. In fact, it's very catastrophic in the sense that it promotes heavy cortisol, because these activities typically take north of an hour to complete. You're talking about guys going on 2-hour, 3-hour bike rides. That's way too long. In my program, I believe that people should train for 30 minutes. There's an old saying, you can train hard, you can train long, but you can't do both. Because if you try both, you're gonna have issues like many of these people have. So that's what type 1 is. Think of slow twitch, slow tempo, endurance-based activities. Now for type 2 is fast twitch, okay? So if you look at sprinters, football players, basketball players, these guys who do sports in which it's a lot of explosive movement, notice how they have a certain type of muscle definition and a certain physique. Football players typically are stout, muscular guys, but they can still run like deers. I mean, there's a defensive end, because I played defensive end in college, but I'm impressed by this one guy. His name is Myles Garrett. He plays for the Browns at the moment. Probably not at the moment, but he's in the process of getting traded or looking for another team to play with. But besides the point, the guy is 6'4" and he weighs as much as me. So I'm 6'2" and I'm 270 pounds. Okay, don't have any very low body fat. I'm pretty lean. And this guy is 6'4", my weight. This guy can jump out of the gym. He's fast. He's athletic. And the reason why is because the training, and if you go on and watch what he does, all the stuff I promote in my programs, the things that I promote in my training, he does it. And again, I'm saying this to you guys because I'm speaking from a perspective of a former athlete. Athletes are the reason why they are is because we don't look at training, or excuse me, we don't look at physical activity like the average guy. See guys, we're high performers on this channel, which means we're gonna use language that we resonate with, that makes you elite, right? Regular people like to exercise. We train. What's the difference? I'll go into another video. But the thing is, when you're doing training such as this, you are pushing your body to these limits to where your body has to adapt. This is why people who do these type of workouts, they don't plateau. When people plateau in their training, it's because they're doing the same thing. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna jump on the treadmill for an hour, and I'm gonna do my 3 sets of 10, jump on my phone, look at my phone, right? Take 5-minute break and go right back into it. I'm in the gym 2-3 hours, but you stay looking the same. So what would you rather do? Would you rather do something where you only have to train for 30 minutes or less and look amazing, or go to the gym for 3 hours and waste your time and come out still fat and still looking like crap and not exceeding your expectation? That's what it's all about, guys. So type 2, put your body in that anabolic environment. It puts your body in that environment. It puts you in that state where your body always wants nutrition. Why? Because you're breaking muscle tissue down. And notice that with these type of training, there's always resistance. Running, sprinting hills. You have dumbbells in here. You're doing something that's loading the joints. You're strengthening your core. You're doing a lot of compound movements. This is why, whether it be a young kid or a senior individual, senior age person, they respond the same. They get good outcomes because this stuff is good for you. These movements are these type 2 movements are typically low impact. Now, if we're talking about doing like jumps and all that stuff, that's one thing. But for the most part, they're low impact, but the intensity is high. What does that mean? Intensity means that you can still make the workouts challenging, push to your limits. But by doing that, you're not compromising your joints. You're not compromising your health, your lower back, your knees. So this is why, guys, that, us high performers need to make sure that we train with the right type of intensity, which I think failure is the best thing, But here's the thing with the system that I employ, that I always preach, not only do you get the type 1 muscle fiber recruitment, you get type 2, you get both. Now the reason why you get both, because in my system, I believe that instead of doing things for reps, everyone does 3 sets of 10, 2 sets of 20. Guys, I'm different when it comes to a lot of things. I think that you should take your body to the point where you can't go, which I believe to do that is by timing your sets. Think about it, guys. Hear me out. When you do sets for time, right? If I'm doing 2 minutes of like tricep kickbacks, right? When I get to 10 reps, I feel it. When I get to 20 reps, it burns. Imagine doing that for 2 minutes. You're getting north of 30, 40 reps for easy, right? And the type of pump you feel, the type of sensation you feel is out of this world. But not just that, guys. See, weight training, people, when they do weight training, they don't experience that cardiovascular effect as if they were running. But guess what? When you train the way that I always promote in my program, you're getting both. You're doing bicep curls and you're out of breath. So technically you're getting cardio. And that's what I talk about. You want to make sure you're getting your cardiovascular in a capacity in which you're still not compromising the strength. You want it all, guys. Okay? In my system, I believe that people should have it all. They need to have it all. Don't sacrifice muscle for strength. Don't sacrifice strength for muscle and endurance. And don't sacrifice endurance for muscle and strength. You want it all, guys. So this is why when you train but here's the thing. To train this way, you have to adopt a certain mindset. And this is how we get into the mindset. And then you see why the training and the mindset go hand in hand and why we need to do it. Why? Because when you do stuff like this, it not only do you look elite, okay, but you think elite, and you continue to heighten the things that you already do, and that's just gonna make you win even more. So guys, I kind of just went into, I wanted just to talk about that a little bit, but I'm sure you guys have a good understanding why I believe that this method is. I know it can sound crazy to some of you guys, but trust me, clients of mine that train like this and they get involved in my system, they always say, man, like this stuff's crazy. It's crazy, but you know what though? It's just bringing you back to that athletic mindset. It's funny, guys. Before I close this video, I wanted to share something. So I remember, I played football at Weber State from 11 to 14, and the only person I was impressed by was this. I'm not gonna say his name, but he was a fellow teammate of mine, right? Probably about 5'8", but man, he was a hell of an athlete. To this day, he was probably the only person, besides my cousin, who I would admit, if you're watching this video, is faster than me, right? The guy's strong, he's athletic. And I remember every day after practice, we would always have, sprints. Anyone who played football, after practice, you're running wind sprints, gashers. And there have been times where we're running for like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, we're still running, because him nor I want to stop. Him or I are willing to quit. And we're not stopping until that guy decides. And there was a time where we were going like a half hour into it. The coach had to shut it down because, he knew that we were in that mindset where we weren't going to quit. Like, we were going to die on that field if we had to. And see, guys, I say that because that's the mindset you want to go with. You want to go into every training session with that, like, man, I'm gonna destroy this. And when you have that mindset, it's infectious. It literally carries into everything. But it all starts from the training, okay? It all starts from the training. That's how you build everything up. So again, like I always say, you can't build a house on a weak foundation. That foundation must always be there. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, I try to be as informative as I can. I'm gonna get to work on the next video so you guys can enjoy that and receive that. But in the meantime, guys, I would really appreciate if you like the video. Share the video to those that you find this compelling, that they would enjoy. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Remember, guys, greatness is in you, and you're the one who decides how far you go. You're the one who decides who becomes great, okay? No one else. With that said, guys, Obi with Lion Strong Elite, signing out. See you on the next one.